And Stuart Varney's invited to come down as well. Hello, Stuart. How are you?
I'm a New Yorker, okay?
But you could still, there are planes that come this way. We'd love to have you.
So I'm told.
All right, so listen, I want to talk about, first of all, what is going on with the Dow and the markets right now. It's up 275 points one day, down the next. It's like a roller coaster ride lately.
It is. What everybody's looking at, there are two things going on here. Number one, the rest of the world really is slowing down. Europe's going into recession, looks like it. And there's all kinds of anxiety about Ebola, ISIS, Ukraine, Putin, China, you name it, there's anxiety.
There's a whole lot of anxiety, you're right.
Oh, yeah, the anxiety level is rising. Now, that tends to push stock prices down. Then along comes reports from the Federal Reserve that, no, we're going to have easy money as far as the eye can see. Don't worry, we'll take care of this. So the market goes back up again. The fallout, actually, is mostly on people who are trying to save money. You've been to a bank recently and looked at a bank CD? You think you're going to earn anything on a bank CD?
Right, there's nothing.
Have you seen a bond? What do you think you're going to earn on a bond? Mm-hmm. If you give the government money for 10 years right now, you only earn 2.3% interest over each and every year for 10 years. That's a historic low. So you've got people forced out of saving money and putting it into risking money in the stock market, and that's why the stock market's gone up. It's all over the place, frankly, but that's why it's still at the 17,000 level on the Dow Industrial.
Well, and with regard to the interest rate, Stuart, a lot of people always get worried about a weakening U.S. dollar, but the dollar's pretty strong right now, and that's not necessarily a good thing with regard to interest rates, right?
Well, it's pushing money into America. You're right, the dollar's at a 4-year high against many of the major currencies. I mean, it's gone straight up recently because people are worried about what's going on elsewhere in the world, so they fly to the safety of the U.S. dollar and U.S. Treasury securities. Money's pouring in from all over the world, going straight into our debt because they know we'll repay it with valuable dollars. So that's what's going on, and that pushes interest rates down. That makes savers just crying out for a better return.
We were just talking a moment ago about this Secret Service, this new development in the Secret Service prostitute scandal, which doesn't really have anything to do with the Secret Service. It has to do with a White House advanced person who apparently was also involved in that, although it was kept secret by the White House. You have some thoughts about that?
It seems to me there's a crisis of confidence in government performance and government honesty. The Secret Service scandal, this latest one, the cover-up until after the 2012 election, that's just one more element in the whole big story. The IRS kept intimidation of conservatives out of the 2012 election. They're trying to keep it out of the 2014 election, too. ISIS. Obama ignored the advice of his senior advisors. He knew about the threat early, failed to respond on time. Look at the disarray in the response to Ebola. It's one thing after another, one crisis of confidence in government after another, and you start to question their honesty.
And how does that play then? Take it to the next step as we approach the midterm elections.
Well, there's a crisis of confidence in the president's leadership, in his management abilities, and Democrats are running away from the man in the election. I mean, I can't think of a single Democrat who wants him in that district or that state to campaign for that Democrat candidate.
Yeah.
They've run a mile from this man.
That's certainly the case here in Virginia, where Mark Warner is heading for re-election or looking for re-election. Hey, Stuart, can I ask you, we got this report late yesterday that China has surpassed the United States of America as the world's largest economy. I mean, there's certainly, what do they have, 3 or 4 more times population than America, so I guess it's somewhat understandable, but on a per capita basis, we have a strong economy still. Is this something to worry about?
Oh, well, on almost every measurement, the United States economy is still about twice the size of China's economy. But,
so what does this mean?
Well, the IMF came along and said in terms of purchasing power, and that's where population starts to have a big effect. In terms of purchasing power, China has just surpassed America at just over 17 trillion, and we're at 17 trillion. So on that one rather narrow basis, they're saying China's bigger than America. I don't hold much store in that. In my opinion, America still double
Yeah.
the size of China's economy, still way out in front.
Well, and also it suggests, people see that headline and it suggests that life is better in China than here. But, I mean, the talk about the top 1%, money is so centralized in China. If you go to the rural areas, you go 20 miles out of any urban center, and it looks like a third world nation.
It does.
And by the way, the very rich people of China are doing their utmost to get that money out of China and themselves and their children with it.
All right, Stuart Varney, we're going to leave it right there. Always a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
And
Thank you.
By the way, you didn't have to identify yourself as a New Yorker. We can tell by that accent. You're from the Bronx.
See, I just give myself away every time.
Thanks,
But
Stuart.
if you come, there'll be some pancakes in it for you.
Pancakes?
Pancakes. Aunt Jemima pancakes.
Bagels and blintzes for me, baby.
All right. Thank you, Stuart. Always a